Have you ever heard of the 12th planet? Have you ever heard of Anu, of Enki, of Enlil? Have you ever heard of the big giants who came to visit Earth thousands of years ago? I'm sure not, because all these are subjects that we don't teach in schools or in universities. When you finish watching this video, I'm sure you will be rethinking all of our human existence and everything we have been taught. I was asked the same questions a few months earlier by a man who spent most of his life researching ancient tablets and ancient manuscripts. What he told me blew my mind, and it made me dig deeper and deeper and research ancient civilizations in order to discover most of the secrets around our human existence. So in today's video, I'll be talking about one of the biggest secrets of human existence or human history, which is the Anunnaki. Who are the Anunnaki? What is the 12th planet? What is the relation to the Sumerians? And also, what happened to the Anunnaki when they arrived on Earth? The Anunnaki were first mentioned in the Sumerian legends. However, there are some people who believe that these are not only legends, and that the Anunnaki are still living among us until the present day. It is said that they are the ones who gave humans many of their knowledges, such as agriculture, for example. I know this all may sound a bit vague till now, so let me begin by explaining who were the Sumerians. Sumer was the southernmost region of ancient Mesopotamia, which is today modern-day Iraq, which is generally considered to be the beginning of all civilization. However, the birthplace of the Sumerian civilization is still unknown until our present day. Some studies say that they originated from today's Iraq. They lived there and evolved there. Other studies tend to say that they originated from Central Asia and then came to Iraq, but also there is no proof that any of these two studies is correct. The Sumerian civilization was known for the big cities, big temples, as well as their big gardens. They built ships and had advanced knowledge in mathematics and also in medicine. And this is where it gets very interesting, because just imagine a civilization that supposedly lived thousands of years from now and supposedly did not have any of the technologies that we have nowadays, was able to thrive and to reach high level of knowledge in different fields. And it doesn't stop here. Zecharia Sitchin was a writer who published many books that talk about the origins of humanity, the origins of the world, and of our own existence. And he always talked about the Sumerians, the Anunnaki, and the 12th planet. And in his writings, he always insisted on one subject, which is how advanced the Sumerians were, especially in the fields of space and astronomy. The Sumerians discovered the solar system. They divided the circle into an angle of 360 degrees. They also divided the sky into 12 horoscopes. They were also the first to acknowledge and to know that a day is made out of 86,400 seconds, which are equal to 24 hours. They even had information on all the planets of the solar system, and most importantly, they knew the distance between the Earth and the Moon. How did they do this? This remains an unanswered question. How, thousands of years ago, a human civilization with no technology like what we have today was able to make all these discoveries? They even spoke the first language and wrote the first known alphabet. Why is it that we don't talk about them? What is the secret behind this mysterious civilization? In 1849, British archaeologist Austen Henry Layard found ruins of a great royal archive in Iraq, and inside he discovered 14 ancient tablets written in Sumerian language. These tablets dated to 4000 BC. The tablets had writings carved on them, and they are supposed to be the oldest known writing to mankind. But what do these writings say? And this is where the big surprise is. In these manuscripts, The Sumerians talk about higher beings that created life on Earth, about giants that visited Earth thousands of years ago. These higher beings came from outer space, sort of aliens if you like. According to these writings, thousands of years ago, these aliens came to Earth, and the only population at that time were the animals and the first cavemen. These aliens were called the Anunnaki. Anunnaki meaning the royal seed, or the royal species, the species that came from heaven. It is said that they were able to live up to hundreds of thousands of years. They came from a planet called Nibiru, that follows an elliptical orbit around the sun. And because of its elliptical orbit, it comes close to Earth's orbit every 3,500 years, according to the book The 12th Planet, written by the Korea Shinchen. But why did these Anunnaki come to Earth? It is said that at some point in history, the atmosphere of their planet Nibiru became hazardous, and the planet was no longer able to sustain life like it used to in the past. In order to repair the problem, the Anunnaki needed an element that was only found on Earth, which was gold. It is said that gold has the power to protect from radioactive frequencies and also to restore ozone layers. Upon their arrival on Earth, they established the first colony under the command of Enki. Enki as in En meaning Lord, and Ki was the name of our planet long before it was called Earth. Enki was considered one of the biggest scientists of the kingdom of Anunnaki, and he was the son of Anu, the leader of the Anunnaki. However, they did not come alone to Earth. They brought with them a different alien species that they used as slaves. They were minor gods called the Igigi. These slaves used to mine for gold. And at some point in history, after hundreds of years on Earth, they revolted against the Anunnaki, hoping they will be able to destroy these gods and gain their freedom. However, the Anunnaki and the masters defeated them and killed all the slaves. And at this point of history, the Anunnaki did not have any more workforce. This is where Anu, the god of Nibiru, ordered his son Enki, the big scientist, to create a new species able to serve and to mine gold. In the ancient writings, it is said that Enki was able to manipulate the human DNA and genes. He even put part of his own DNA and mixed it with the humans. They did many tests and created different samples until they reached the result that they were looking for. No one until now knows if it's all mythology or fact. It is also said that the first DNA used were much stronger than the ones we have nowadays. And this is what might explain how, in some ancient tablets, it is said that kings used to rule for thousands of years. So after many samples, he was able to create the new species, which was a mixture of caveman and the Anunnaki, the Homo sapiens. They used to live for hundreds of years on Earth, and they were big giants compared to today's humans. Over the next years, human population grew in numbers, and many Anunnaki gods had children with human females. As it says in the book of Genesis, and it came to pass when men began to be numerous upon the earth, and daughters were born to them, and the sons of God, having seen the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, took to themselves wives of all whom they choose. And the Lord God said, My spirit shall certainly not remain among these men forever. These mixtures between the Anunnaki and the human females made Enlil, Enki's brother, very angry. He did not accept the idea that gods would have children with humans. Enlil was the opposite of his brother Enki. He was a military god and had to protect the empire of Anu. Enki was compassionate and loved the humans. He gave them all the knowledge he could, knowledge on agriculture, on construction, and different other fields. The ancient tablets also tell us that on one of the passages of Nibiru, close to Earth, something very unexpected happened. Black spots were seen on the sun, and the Earth's magnetic field became weaker. Temperatures rose, and there were earthquakes all over the planet, as if the Earth was slowly dying. Some legends say that all this was something already planned by Enlil to destroy humanity and stop this mixture between the two species. Other legends say that it was natural cause, since Nibiru was close to Earth and Enlil took advantage of it. Many Anunnaki chose to stay on Earth, even with all the destruction happening and the disasters. Darkness filled the whole planet. The sunlight disappeared completely, and the moon was no longer present. Thunder and rain covered all corners of Earth, and tsunamis were everywhere on the planet. Enki had much compassion for his creations, for the humans, and he told them to build ships in order to be able to survive. Many days later, the big storm stopped. And after all these events, Enki decided, with the remaining Anunnaki and the humans, to rebuild some of what was destroyed on Earth. He decided to build huge structures all around the planet, with most of them pointing at the night stars. And this is where the question about lots of old and ancient structures stay unanswered. The pyramids, the Easter Island statues, the resemblance between all the pyramids in Asia, in Africa, and also in the American continent. Why all these pyramids are very similar one to another, even though the supposed civilizations that built them were far away one from another and they didn't have any way of communicating. Could it be possible that the Anunnaki built all of them? After the reign of the Anunnaki covered the entire Earth, they decided to leave the planet completely, promising to come back when Nibiru's orbit is once again close to our own in 3,500 years. Some stories tend to say that the first DNAs were the best, since people used to live for hundreds of years. However, nowadays, there's some sort of deterioration of our DNA, and all we have to do is to wait for the Anunnaki to pass again to remodify their creations. Other legends also state that the kings that ruled the earth for thousands of years all had special gene added to them by the Anunnaki. This way, Earth will continue to follow their rules even during their absence. According to all the ancient records, Nibiru passed by the Earth the last time around 3,000 or 3,200 years ago, which would mean that the planet is already on its way back to Earth. The last time it was close, it caused destruction and natural disasters all over our planet. Could it be that all the disasters we are having nowadays on Earth be an indication to the approach of Nibiru and the new encounter with the Anunnaki? This is a question to be answered in the coming hundreds of years. Nevertheless, it is important to know that all these stories and mysteries are part of our human history. It is important to acknowledge them and to accept them as part of our existence and to be open-minded about them. And for me, the most important question remains, are we as humans going to stay a species that is unfortunately, most of the times, driven by wars and attached to materialistic things such as gold, silver, and even money? Or are we going to become a species that will thrive and tend to discover itself, to look up at the stars and wonder what secrets do these stars hold, and begin our journey to discover the universe and our galactic neighbors, and who knows, perhaps even one day meet with the Anunnaki and have lots of subjects to talk about. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. Please do not forget to like and to subscribe, and I'll be seeing you with more interesting videos next time. Cheers!